Hello, beautiful soul. If you are wanting to show up more authentic in your relationships and you really want to feel confident to be your true self and to express all that you are and feel safe to show up that way in the world, then this is going to help you, okay? This has been a huge part of my own healing journey over the last few years, and I would say it started with just general confidence work, but then the more deeper I went into the reality creation and really calling in the exact kind of relationship dynamics that I'd always wanted, and holding higher level standards and boundaries around my current relationships, like inviting the relationships to rise up and meet me in a more healthy place than some of the outdated patterns they'd been currently operating in before that. It became a really big part of the quantum healing hypnosis work and looking at the subconscious beliefs around why do I believe these certain things are normal, or why do I believe I deserve them? Why am I tolerating them, right? Where am I enabling because I'm still in a people pleaser mindset? As well as looking at the energetic signature, which oftentimes is what causes us to attract, right? Because like attracts like. So if there's something kind of in your energetic signature, in your aura, in your force field, right? This vibrational vortex that surrounds you and moves through you, if there's something connected to that, then oftentimes we end up attracting more of the same things. So I actually just uploaded a really powerful quantum healing hypnosis activation inside my monthly membership, and it's all about breaking free from these blocks or these past relationship experiences so that you can show up authentically and be true to yourself in these dynamics. And there are 2 different ways to get your hands on this. Both are linked down below. I will go into it a little bit more at the end as well, but it's just something that if you're really wanting to make a fast and powerful change in this area of your life, I highly recommend checking it out and starting there, okay? Before I get into all the details about that though, the reason this was coming up is that a handful of members inside the monthly membership that I have started were asking about this, and they were sharing different scenarios. So it kind of went all across the board, some with family members, some with exes and people they were dating, some with friends, and there were a few different themes. So I'm going to touch on a handful of them because one of them that comes to mind first was related to friendships that had outgrown. And I know I've been in that place. Who's been there? Where you have someone who you've been connected to for a long time, but you are drifting. There's no longer things in common, and potentially, at least for this case in the example I'm sharing, she knew she had outgrown this dynamic, and it was actually causing her to have some anxiety. And when she spent time with this friend, she noticed that she felt heavier, more anxious, more unhappy. And she realized through doing a lot of this work that actually it's because she's ready for more, and she's ready for different caliber, different level of friendships. And it wasn't really filling her cup. It wasn't feeling like an equal energy exchange. And she was just kind of staying in it because it was comfortable and because she was afraid of setting a boundary or having a difficult conversation or just kind of slowly drifting away, right? The other example was one of the members had asked about continuing to attract similar dating experiences, and in these experiences they didn't feel safe to share their full self. They kind of felt like they had this mask on and their guard up, right? And it's normal for that to happen, and I know I still have that happen with new relationships, and there's a level of self-protection and wanting to make sure it's someone who is worth sharing more in depth with, and if you feel safe, if you feel like you can trust them, if you feel like there's actually something progressing here, obviously it's a lot easier then to start letting the guard down and share more of who you are. But if you're in a place where you're attracting these same patterns all the time, like they were, then those patterns, unfortunately, just reinforce the beliefs that you already have, right? So for her, it was maybe reinforcing that it's not safe, or that there aren't people out there who will get her, right? Or that, it's going to have to be really difficult to find people, or she's going to be stuck and alone forever. Like all these different illusions, because those aren't the ultimate truth, but they feel really strong, especially when your reality is reflecting it back to you. Okay? So this is why the reprogramming work is so important. This is why the energy healing and the hypnosis to retrain your brain to think new thoughts and to open yourself up energetically to match with what you desire instead of matching with the old allows you to shift into a new frequency and a new reality and ultimately a new identity. Because the second you start to build the confidence in yourself, your own ability to trust yourself, to protect yourself, to set the boundaries or have the uncomfortable conversation or just be fully you, right? When you build the confidence to express yourself fully, then that shifts the outcome. If everything is a mirror and you change who you are, then the things that are mirrored and reflected back to you are also going to change to match that. I've seen that in my own life with so many relationships over the years, the ways in which, as I've done my own healing to shift within me and to build more confidence or to push through the uncomfortable moments and express what's on my heart, that I either am inviting people to meet me there and inviting them more into my world and into a place where we can create a bigger level of depth, or by showing my true self, if it's not a match for them, if it's not something they like or that they can vibe with, then they clear out and they leave. And it becomes very apparent that we're not meant to stay in each other's lives, right? But at the end of the day, if you're wanting to create a really empowered life, you have to be able to honor who you are, right? The divine creator created you, uniquely you, for a reason. And imagine if you spend your whole life hiding behind a mask because you have wounds from childhood, or you got bullied in school, or you didn't fit in, or you're afraid you're too much, right? Any of these things that stop you from being authentic. Well, your unique soul's blueprint and all that you're here to share and experience and embody in the world, now that's like 80% instead of 100%, right? Or maybe it's like 50% or 10%. There was a time in my life where I was probably near 10% because I was stuck in so many distorted beliefs, so much people pleasing and living for everyone else, never honoring myself at all, really. So my true self, my soul blueprint, wasn't being shared with the world. It wasn't emanating from me. Instead, I was emanating something else. And I attracted relationships that matched that. So I'd keep thinking, like, why can't I find someone who gets me? But I wasn't getting and honoring myself. Or I'd go, oh, someone else who's kind of judging these things. But I was kind of judging myself too because I wasn't allowing myself to show this. And it's really only been in the last, I would say it started 10 years ago, but it's deepened since 2020 when I really started going next level into the quantum healing stuff, where then I started to be able to shift like the energetic signature and looking at the template, the people pleasing, the imbalanced masculine and feminine within me, the beliefs and normalization of unhealthy masculine and feminine outside of me, which kept me tolerating things that I no longer tolerate at all now. And I've seen the most beautiful transformation in my life and in my relationships, where now, because I've continued to hold a standard for myself, I've watched these relationships evolve in such incredible ways where now I feel safe to be me. And I feel like I can show up that way and I can share myself with the world. And I know exactly when not to. And I also know when it's safe to do so, or how to protect myself if I'm going to share that fully, right? So with all of this said, if this is stuff you can relate to and if you're wanting to break free, then I'm going to dive into the two different options here, because I've recorded this hypnosis activation and it's all about this. So we're going deep into clearing out, releasing any of the current, beliefs or energetic imprints that are connected to you, connected to this relationship piece. Clearing that stuff out and then creating confidence, allowing you to really bask in the frequency of what it's like to show up fully authentically you, putting yourself out there in the world in that way, being received by the right people, feeling that, normalizing that in your body and in your system, getting to really create consciously the desired reality and the relationships that you want to call in and bring forward, right? So this activation is available by itself for $55.55. It's linked in the description. Or there is the option of joining inside the monthly membership, which is only $33.33 each month. And you get daily downloads from me, weekly quantum healing hypnosis activations, as well as a monthly live coaching call. So it's really a place where if you're wanting coaching or more support or something to keep you motivated and on track each day, but you're not looking for full-blown intense level coaching or anything like that, and if you're wanting access to these hypnosis activations, because I've also got them in a whole bunch of different courses, I've got so many resources available for you to support you depending on what you're looking for. But if you're wanting to just kind of try it out and get a sprinkling of things first, the membership is an incredible place to start. So that is linked down below as well. I forget if I said it or not, but you get access to all the past activations. So there's already 7 other activations in there for you. This one that I've talked about here. And then every single month that you continue, you obviously get 4 new activations every month, the monthly call and the daily drops from me. So I would love to see you inside, and I just really invite you to realize that you can shift what it is you believe you deserve, what it is you believe is normal. You can also shift the faith and confidence and trust in how authentic you get to be in your relationships. And I promise you, it's very unlikely that that is going to change unless you change something. Because if other people are all just happily going about their days in their ways and they're not doing inner work to shift themselves, then nothing's going to change, right? So the change happens when we create it. So when you take a stand and go, you know what, I want deeper level relationships. I'm done with this surface level shit. I want to be all of me, and I want to call in the people that match that. You making that proclamation and then doing this work to shift it internally, mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, then you are now changing how you show up. You're changing what you're even energetically commanding from other people, the way you take up space. And the more you start to share and express yourself authentically, as I said before, the more you invite others to join you and match you in that. Or it becomes extremely abundantly clear that they're not matching and that they're wanting to stay over here, in which case you can take your power back, take your energy back, and not be in an unequal energy exchange, right? You get to honor yourself regardless and keep walking in your truth, expressing your truth, and feeling confident and supported as you do it. So jump inside the membership or grab the activation, and I can't wait to hear how it supports you, and I will see you again soon.